everything together here. Let's see. Get that open. Then YouTube. So let's see. Go here. We go to contents. Do that. Hey, Deborah. Yeah, Deborah, I have to be early only because I have to set everything up. I do have a new phone and one of I'm gonna I'm gonna start this, same thing early, like quarter 2, and I'm gonna schedule it just to see if it works, and if it works, okay. If it doesn't, then I have to schedule video 15 minutes early. I have to restart it with a new one so I have everything. And why is my hold on, let me go turn this other computer off because I'm already seeing glitchy on my laptop here. Okay, let's see if that'll be better. My screen was already going glitchy and I'm just coming on, so I figured let me turn off that other laptop. Um, yeah, I was already seeing the blurriness and the pixelating happening, and I figure, okay, I had my work laptop on, so I figure if I just eliminate something that may be on the Wi-Fi, then maybe that'll help out. So, hey Froggy, just give me a moment here. What am I doing? I'm trying to get this all set up. Oh, I wish you two would just get their act together. Let me do this. Let me get this whole thing set up so that way you guys can add names to that spreadsheet. Get out of the way. And hey, Carol. Get out of the way. And that. Okay, so that part's done. Let me go here and get the rest of the stuff added. This 5, 11. Let's change this. That. Let's get this open. Get this. Right. Done. Don't want that. We want that. Save. All right, so we got that. All right, so that's all saved. We copy this. And let me go here. Vagabonds here. Let's see. All right, switch. Next, post that. All right. Switch. Go here. I hope I don't do a lot of that. Okay, share now. All right. That's that. All right, so let's close that. We're doing good on time. It's not quite 7 yet. Okay, let me get my keyboard out of the way and I'll come back and look at comments. Oh, we're going to need that pen. Okay. Whew. I'll hit myself with the light. All right, let me see. Let's see what's going on here. You already got a party going on in the comments. Okay, so I said hi to Deborah and Froggy. What did I do for Thursday? You know, this is sad. I can't even remember what I've done. Hold on. Let me get the planner because that's the only way I know what I'm doing or what I have done. I have fallen, I mean, if last Friday I mentioned I had kind of fell behind. After I came back from my trip, so while I was gone, I had all that stuff done, pre-recorded, great. But after getting back, the first I had the Christmas card inspiration video, the Throwback Thursday, the Plan the Friday video. Oh yeah, and on the first I also needed to do the newsletter. And yeah, that kind of all went a little crazy. I ended up doing my Friday Night Live before I did my Christmas video, and my Throwback Thursday um, for that first week. So I get lost on what I was but yeah, the Friday got done before those, and I will tell you, and Froggy will know because Froggy, that is so sweet that you reach out whenever you're watching and you see that we're having severe weather down here. We definitely had some water. Actually, I should grab my other cell phone and I could probably show you the nice little river I had behind my apartment. I could do that now. Of course, things would be a little backwards, but I'll show that in a moment or when I go to flip this. Uh, so over that weekend, last weekend, my whole plan, get everything done, get everything caught up. And of course, with the weather going on, I get a little squirrel and I be watching Brian Hall. And yeah, and of course, he streams for hours on end. And I'm so focused in watching what's going on with the weather. So, but I did get everything caught up. I mean, things are probably out of order at the moment, but um, okay, so Thursday of last week I did Dandelion Wishes and then I did the Posted for You yesterday. Let's see. Froggy, Deborah, Carol Weston. Um, okay, I did pin that up there. What? What's Deborah saying? Oh, you're watching a baseball game. Who's playing? I have no clue. Um, Ever since, I'll be honest with you, I was all into it when I lived in Ohio because, okay, I'm just going to say it. It's Cleveland Indians and it will always be the Cleveland Indians, not this Guardian nonsense. No. Mm-mm. Nope, 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 nope. No, no, no. It's the Indians, not the Guardians, Deborah. Oh, they got their own channel. I I hope all of that med issue is all taken care of. Hi, Tracy. Oh, okay. Deborah, is your son's last name, is it the same, Vaverka? And I guess we would need the address too. So, um, instead, if we don't want to put it on there, if you want to do the email that was sent that has everybody's address on, if you want to do it that way, so that way it's not on here and everybody sees it, I'd be more than happy. I got a couple of birthday cards I got to get out, plus cards for tonight. Those will have to go out, so I'll be more than happy. I'm pretty sure I got a whole lot of cards. Actually, one of the cards tonight would be perfect that I'm going to be making. Let's see. So I said hi to Tracy. Terry is here. Mia, hello Mia. Oh, okay, same address. All right. Okay, so I'll do that. And Yvonne is here. She's yeah, she's in the apartment. I hear her coming down the hall. Hello. Hello, everybody. I don't know if they heard you or not, but she said hello, and she'll be on momentarily. I don't. She stopped at the store before she came here, and she asked about this wagon that we had picked up where you can put a lot of stuff in it, and the whole idea behind it was so if we ever went to like say Sam's Club or whatever, and there was a lot of stuff we didn't have to make multiple trips. We can just put everything in the cart, and then just roll it into the apartment. And so, yeah, that's what she did. When she got here, she got the wagon, got her stuff, and then came in. So she'll be on shortly. I don't know what she's brought. Don't know. Um, so what time is it? So it's 7:04, and I think, we'll get started. Uh, so Yvonne's birthday is on Monday the 14th. One, four, on the 14th. I still have to make her a card. Oh, and then by the way, later on the month, Miss Terry's birthday is coming, and she will be here. She'll be here in Memphis. And yeah. I ain't gonna comment on that, Terry. Um, but I will let you know that let's see. So next weekend, it's already Easter. So my throwback Thursday for next week, I am gonna pull out a set that I hadn't used yet that was retired, called Basket Bunch. So it had like the Easter basket and the bunnies and the eggs and all that. Um, then on Friday the 18th, so next Friday, I will not be live. It will be pre-recorded because we are having a Good Friday service at church, and I think I should be there. I haven't been at church for a while. So I really do need to be there. And besides, the way life has been going lately, I need to be there. Um, so that's going to be pre-recorded now. Really wanted to use that Faith Collection bundle, the one with the at the stamp set, and then the cross ties that's in the online exclusives. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to order it and get it in time. So I'm going to take two stamp sets, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I was away and while I was away, when it came to Stampin' Up, I did not make no cards. I didn't look at anything. So one, I don't even know exactly what's on the last chance list. I don't know what's carrying over. I have an idea of like two items at least that I wanted that is no longer available. They're gone. So I really don't know what's left. I don't know what was in the online exclusive and what they added to that list. It seems like things that just came out are already on there, which is a little disappointing. I mean, that's worse than what's going on, like with the mini catalogs. They only go for 4 months, and to me, it's just it's too soon to retire this stuff, and then you come out with more, and then you're charging more. I have my thoughts, I have my comments. I don't know if this is the place to say it, but Stampin' Up's got to think about, you jack up the prices too much, you may lose a whole lot of customers because people aren't going to have money to buy that stuff. So, just a thought. So yeah, I don't know what anything about that with between the catalogs and what's available, what's not available. I'm sure I'm gonna at some point I'll look at it. And I do want to apologize. I am going to really try to keep this coughing at bay. Um, it was days, way days after I got back from my trip, and all of a sudden I got hit with this. And I rarely ever get sick. Before I ever went on my trip, Yvonne had caught something. I mean, she still has that little bit of a lingering cough that she deals with, but I was totally fine before I left here and while I was there, and I bought medicine just in case. And it was days after I got back, and then I was opening that package and I started taking it. So it's not extremely bad, but when you get that little tickle in your throat, and then you go to try to clear your throat, or you just cough a little bit thinking that you're gonna move it in, that tickle goes away. Well, yesterday while I was at work, now I wasn't here, I was down at the office, and I had that, and I went to clear, and next thing you know, I had a coughing fit. And I mean, when it gets that bad, your eyes are all welling up with tears and everything. And it was like, I had a struggle on trying to breathe and stop coughing. I don't want that to happen. So I have water right here, and so hopefully I'll be good through this, because I'm sure that the coughing doesn't sound very good on your end. So okay. So next, like I said, next Friday, I am going to feature like two different stamp sets that were in the annual catalog. I'm not 100% sure if these stamp set. I think these stamp sets are retiring. They are on the last chance list. They are standalone stamp sets. So there's one that's called "You Are Beautiful." That's the one that's got some scripture in it, and I think like one or two leaf patterns in it. And then there's another one, I think it's called Courage and Faith. So I'm going to use like both of those to create the cards for that video. It's the closest I can come with that I got that's current and to use for Good Friday. Uh, then the following Friday on the 25th, this is the Friday that Terry arrives. So we're going to see what happens with that one as we get a little bit closer, depending on what's going on, what's planned, or whatever. It could be pre-recorded, or I may be live. So at this very moment in time, it's going to be live. Hello, Susie. Thank you for joining us. Oh, and you're from Australia too. Welcome. Um, yeah, Carol, um well, Tracy, I mean, I guess it all depends on how soon you send the card. I mean, I would say that if you send it, yeah, so she's saying it's 15 more days. So the 25th, I mean, if you want to, I mean, the post office, we know what kind of bang up job they do. But yeah, if you want to send it here, then you can. And yeah, she'll definitely get the cards. It'll be part of, when she opens up all her gifts. And yeah, because it's gonna kind of be like a combination. My hair's a little out of control. Like a combination celebration, because like I kind of whispered earlier, next Monday is Yvonne's birthday. So they kind of like always celebrate it together. So yeah, if you wanna send Terry's cards here, then okay, that's not a problem at all. Um, oh, okay. Well, thank you, Deborah. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so I think with that, so that's pretty much what I have, as far as things that are going on. As far as like announcements go, I don't really think I have anything more that I can really talk about because, as far as Paper Pumpkin goes, I kind of covered, upcoming kits and things like that that's coming up. When I did the Paper Pumpkin video, when did I do it? Like, I think that Sunday after I got back from my trip, or maybe Monday. So I have all that info in there. Um, if you are a subscriber of Paper Pumpkin, the price of it is now going to be $2 more, and that started today. So the April kit is the lower price. The May kit, which is the one that's the more masculine kit, that's going to be $2 more. And again, I took a very, very quick glance through the new annual catalog, and I don't know, like, the regular carried over products, like your adhesives and things like that, the ink pads, all that kind of stuff. I didn't really pay attention as to how much did that increase, if it did. I just really know about the cardstock that I'm not too happy about. I didn't even get a chance, and I don't know what's left as far as the ink colors that are going away. um, I really wanted to get extra packages of, the colors. So Wild Wheat was gone pretty quickly, and then I heard Boho Blue went as well. So as far as cardstock goes, I don't know what's left with that. Of course, the packaging is changing on the basic white. You're getting less, yet you're paying more. And yeah, so I have to, kind of take a moment to kind of look at that stuff. Now, if there is anybody, I think most people here that, you've been with me on here, either you're a demonstrator yourself, or you are already working with another demonstrator, especially like if you're in another country. You can't order from me if you're in another country. The only way you can do that is if you're living on a military base and there's an APO address. That's the only way Stampin' Up is going. Anybody overseas can order from me is if they're on a military base. Um, what else? I am like getting hot here, guys. I need to put my hair up, and usually I wait till after I flip this thing to do that. Let's see. So I'm just going to do this. Okay, so with that, I think I'm going to take this and I'm going to flip it, and I think we're going to get started. Uh, at first, this was a bundle that's in the annual catalog. I really do not know. I haven't checked. Maybe I should check to see if this is something that's on the last chance list. I don't know. So let me take a quick peek. When I did my newsletter, I did notice that, because I always include what the new kits are going to be, and I did see that there are 3 new kits that came out for this month, and one of them is that really pretty flower bouquet. I would really like to get that. Hopefully I can get it before, it goes on back order or something. Let me see, what am I using? All right, so, well, from what I am seeing, it is not going away. It looks like it's going to carry over. but the question is if it carries over, for how long. Um, yeah, I don't see last chance listed next to it, so that's good because it would be kind of sucky if it was going away and I'm just doing the video for now. And I will tell you that when I was looking for ideas with this bundle, I didn't see a whole lot of stuff done with it. So I'm glad that I was able to, and it was pretty easy to come up with some of this stuff. So um, pretty cool, and I hope you guys will like it. So if you get a little bit of motion sickness, just close your eyes for a second. I'm gonna take this and I'm going to flip it. So you'll probably see my messy stuff back here and my ceiling. So hold on. The one thing that I noticed now, this is like a newer phone, much newer phone. And for some reason, I noticed with this one, it lags for some reason. And then I also have to really take a look at the settings on it for the camera. Um, the one I'm filming on right now is a Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. Is it a Plus Ultra? I don't know. Um, and this one is a Galaxy S9 Plus. And this one takes better pictures than this one does. For some reason, all of my pictures that I've taken, like for my thumbnails and for my PDF, I don't know what it is, but all the color seems to be washed out from my in the picture. So, it just seems like there's not a whole lot of like settings that you can change for pictures. So I really need to take a look at that and see if there's a way to, because this thing has like, what, I think like 5 lenses on it. It should be taking pretty awesome pictures if you ask me. I mean, I've heard that the video clarity is better than what it was on this phone, and this one was doing very well. What I was mentioning to you before, oh, I got to turn this thing on, and this thing's going to get very loud. And I'm going to set this aside for a minute because what happens with that phone, I will still get messages and everything come through on it because it's on Wi-Fi. And so, of course, when I turn it off, all of a sudden, all those notifications come flying through. And when I was trying to take pictures with it last night, yeah, it's like I had that constantly popping up. But I'm going to show you um, like one thing that's my happy place, and then I'm going to show you what it looked like here Saturday of this past week when we got all of that rain. There were a few places that got flooded really, really bad. Um, Wednesday, I will say that Wednesday we left the office, which is further south than where I am. And down here in the south, weather can get pretty intense. And so we left a little bit early, try to beat the weather. And then the next day, I just worked from home because they were talking about um, was it severe flooding. So okay, we need this to all stop, and hopefully it's going to stop. I just need all these notifications to stop popping through so I can show you what I'm going to show you without all this stuff popping in. Okay, clear this stuff all out. All right, so let me go here. So for those of you that are new and joining me, a few weeks ago, it was actually the last 2 weeks um, of March, I made a trip to Oregon near the Portland area, And, you know, I'm one of those that loves anything nautical. And so going to the coast is my happy place. If there happens to be a lighthouse, I'm even happier. Um, and so yeah, we definitely went there. Now, with that, this is where I would like to be, and this is what I would love to hear. Move out of the way. That sound, I can listen to that all day long. And I can just watch that all day long. I definitely needed to be okay. We can quiet that. I definitely need it because things have not been all that great lately, and my mood and attitude hasn't been the best. I'm gonna admit that. Let's see, it's not gonna be on here. Oh shoot. Um, yeah, that video of what I had going on behind my apartment, it's not on this phone, but it was, you know, a lot of rain, and you would think that there was a river flowing behind uh, my apartment, but it definitely subsided, and everything is good. So, all right, so now let's get into our projects. Okay, and hello, Sharon. Okay, so what I do want to make mention, if you look in the description of this video, if you look the paragraph just above the list of supplies, I do have, there is a link to my Google Drive, and there I have PDFs of all of my Friday night lives or my Friday night kind of lives, which are basically pre-recorded Friday night lives that I then schedule. So in these, they're the date of the video there, that link there, if you click on that, it's going to take you back to the video that I had posted using this bundle. So for example, you click on this, you're going to come right back to this video to where you can watch as I'm putting things together. I have the list of supplies, and then there's pictures, and then there's dimensions, and whatever I stamped, I got the list of colors and everything. So this is free. And like I said, the link is right above the supplies there. And everything is dated from when I put it out there. And then there's the name of the product that I had used. Okay, so you kind of got like a really quick little sneak peek into the cards. So these cards are definitely ones that would be great masculine cards. Or like again, they don't necessarily just have to be for the guys, you know, the women can get them too. So this is a thank you card. For my pieces here, my card base is Early Espresso. It's cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. I have a piece of old olive that measures 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. I have a piece of basic white that measures 5 by 3 3/4. And what I did with this one, I used this really big dotted circles 3D embossing folder, and I don't even know if this has carried over or not. But when I embossed this piece, I lined the cardstock up where it was right in the middle here. So I would get, you know, kind of like this rainbow looking design with the dots from this embossing folder. And then out of a scrap piece of basic white, I stamped the tree in Old Olive ink, and we're going to do some coloring on this with our Stampin' Blends. And then I had stamped in Old Olive the thank you, and then I had die cut that using this little die out of the Unbounded Love set of dies. And I don't even know if this is staying or not. That tells you how much I've been really checking to see what, what carried over and what didn't. There's so many things that end up happening that you just can't keep track of all of it. All right, so we'll fold and burnish this. And then I do want to make mention, if you are new here, when I do my lives, I do a drawing at the end to give away one of the 3 cards that I had made. So it doesn't matter if you are in another country, cards I can mail. I cannot mail product to other countries. So if you would like to be part of it, I have pinned up at the top of the chat box a link that will take you to a Google spreadsheet. Add your name, and then I'll add your name to the wheel of names at the end. And if you have any issues whatsoever trying to do that, just say something in the chat box, and there's someone here that'll be more than happy to add your name. So I'm going to start off with bringing in my liquid glue, and I'm going to glue down my embossed piece to the Old Olive, and then I'm going to take the whole thing and glue it down to my card base. Yeah, you want to know what, Susie? This is the first time I've actually put ink to the stamp set. Like I said, I think I bought this stamp set, and this was a while ago. You remember when Stampin' Up did that sale where it was, what was it? Was it an additional 20% off on stamp die bundles on top of already 10% discount? At that point, I had gotten a lot of the bundles, and that's when I bought this one. And this is actually the first time I'm using the stamp set. And what's really sad is that there's a lot of stamp sets that I got. I've been doing this demo thing since October of 2013. So over the years, I have accumulated a lot, and I still have it. I haven't sold it or anything. I'm starting to rethink that because I'm starting to run out of room in here. And when I go to do my Throwback Thursdays, which is all the retired stash, yeah, there's a lot of times I pull stamp sets off the shelf and it turns out I had never ever used them. And then I was really bad when it came to designer series paper. Yeah, it's too pretty. It always went away, so I always hoarded it. Yeah, well, I'm getting better on actually using the paper now. So, okay. So what I'm going to do with this tree, let me bring in a piece of scrap paper. Move that out of the way. So we're going to, like I mentioned, we're going to do a little bit of coloring with our blends. So for this one, I'm going to bring in, so I have both my light and dark pecan pie, the dark and light lemon lolly, and then the light old olive. So even though this is stamped in Old Olive, I am going to, let's see, what do I want to do? I want to take my dark, and so these dark areas, these dark shadows that's on this um, tree trunk, I'm going to just color that with the dark. And then I'll come in with the light and just kind of fill in the rest of those branches. Okay, so that's the dark. Get the light. I see Becky's here. Yeah, the DSP, there's a lot of it. And like I said, when it came to the stamp sets, a lot of time, well, what had happened in the past is that whenever a catalog was going to retire and, I saw the list, okay, what's carrying over. A lot of times I'd make the list of those items that I really, really wanted that was going away. And then here I would go and I would order all those stamp sets. And then, of course, they would get put away. And then, of course, they're retired. And then you get new stuff. And then you just kind of like forget about it. I was going to do videos. Doing a throwback Thursday was definitely one of the things I wanted to do because when it came to retired product, that's what I had plenty of. So I knew that I would have a lot to work with. And I have gotten a lot of response when I do those throwback Thursdays that they appreciate that I do that because, they may have that set and then it gives them inspiration on pulling it out and playing with it again. All right, so I think I got all of my branches. And then I'm going to take my light lemon lolly, and you see these areas within the tree where you see the white. I'm just going to scribble some of the light in there, and then I'm going to go over in areas with the dark as well. So there's no overthinking on doing this. I'm just scribbling in some color in these white areas. And I don't know if you notice this if you use Stampin' Up's Stampin' Blends, but for some reason it seems like the yellow markers, any of the shades of yellow, have an extremely strong alcohol scent to them. I mean, more than what I've seen with other colors. So you don't want to be right over it while you're doing this. You may get a little high off of it. Okay, so there's the light. And then I'm going to take the dark. And then in some of those areas, I'm going to add. Whew, man, that's strong. Okay. Yeah, Susie, your country is one of those countries I would love to come visit. One day, maybe. I hope. Okay, and then the rest of the areas here with the green, I want to come in with the light old olive. And I'm just going to kind of fill that in. Okay, I think we're good here. So we just, one other thing we want to do is down here, this grassy area as well. I'm going to add a little bit of that light old olive, and then I'm just going to bring in the dark lemon lolly. And then I'm going to add some spots of that in there as well. Okay. As I drop everything. Okay, then I'm also going to bring in some linen thread. And these are the Neutrals Adhesive Back Sequins. So there's brown, copper, gold, and silver. So I'm going to use a few of the brown ones. And like I said, again, I never really got the chance to take a look at that last chance list. So I don't even know if these are on there or not. I'm hoping they didn't do away with linen thread, because that's just one of those things that, you know, to me, it's a staple. So I'm going to take this, I'm just going to do like a single stranded bow. I want my loops to be a little bit big, but not too big, because we're going to take this and put this right behind our little greeting piece here. Okay, and then I'm going to try this. My seal, for some reason, there's a couple of refills that I got where, for some reason, this little, was that the cellophane that the adhesive is on, it's not rolling the way it should, and then it kind of rolls onto itself, and then you have to kind of adjust it. I like using it, but it's just some of them, for some reason, it does that. So I'm going to bring in my silicone craft sheet, and I'm going to take my bow here. I'm going to place this down and take these tails, kind of move those out a little bit, and then I'm going to take a greeting piece, put that on top, and then we'll trim these down a little bit. Okay, get rid of that. And then we're going to add some dimensionals. Let's see. We're going to put some on the back of the tree and on this greeting. Okay. There's that. Let's get our card in here. Take all these off. You know, Vaughn, believe it or not, it seems like things getting to Canada are fairly quick. Now, if you're going way overseas, then yeah, sometimes those take a little bit longer. So with the embossed piece, right down here where you see this kind of like this opening, the center, I'm going to place my tree, the base of that tree right there in the middle of that. And then the greeting, take those off. And then that will go right up here. Let's make sure it's straight. And then we'll bring in our sequins. Okay, and then my take your pick tool that just came apart on me. For some reason, that little piece that kind of twists in, it's gotten loose. Okay, so those of you that are demonstrators, or even, if you watch any of the Stampin' Up staff, when they're creating and making cards, have you ever noticed that they don't ever use this, their take your pick tool? They always like to use their fingers to put things down. I always wondered, it's like, you guys make these tools, so why don't you use them? I always wondered why they do that. I don't know why. Okay, so for this, I've got one of the larger ones and then two of the smaller ones. And there is the first card. So pretty simple and, to me, clean looking. And it didn't take really that long. Once you do like prep work and do the embossing and stuff ahead of time, the card goes together like pretty quick. And what's cool about this tree is that you can try stamping it like in other shades of green or other colors, and then just find other colors to mix in with it. So you can do it for fall, spring, um not really winter, at least not here, or if you're living up north, because all the leaves fall off. But yeah, I really like that card. All right. Excuse me. Let me take a little sip of water. Okay, so the second one, there's a little bit more that goes into this second one, but I really, really, really like this one. I tend to, when I do my cards and when I'm doing 3 of them, I'll start off with one that's a little bit more simpler, and then I'll kind of step it up a little bit. So this one, we're going to do a little bit of piecing pieces together here. So for this one, for my card base, I have a piece of pecan pie, 8.5 by 5.5, squared to 4.25. I have a piece of Lost Lagoon. This is one of those colors that I'm glad that they brought back. My favorite color is purple, but then aquas and blues are very, very close second. So I'm glad they brought this color back. So this is Lost Lagoon. It measures 5.25 by 4. And then ahead of time, I had embossed it using the Timber 3D embossing folder. Again, as far as I'm concerned, that thing is still current. I don't know. I don't know what we still have and what we don't. And I apologize for that. Okay, and then I have another piece of pecan pie. This measures 4 1/8 by 2 7/8. Out of a scrap piece of old olive, I have die cut 3 of these tree tops. And then my greeting here, I stamped that in pecan pie ink, and I had die cut that using another one of those labels that's in the Unbounded Love die. So it's this one right here. And let's see. And then I also use some paper that I think is going away. Again, not 100% sure, but it's fun paper. I really like this paper. This is the Country Woods paper, and then there's also Country Lace. Now, Country Lace, I'm not using on this one. I'm using it on the last one, but yeah, I had used this paper, and out of this particular pattern right here, I had die cut 3 of these tree trunks. And then this piece here, this one measures 4 by 2 3/4. Okay, so we're going to fold and burnish this. And get this. Put that aside. Well, actually, we don't need to put that aside. We're going to glue our Lost Lagoon piece on here. I just read your comment, Yvonne, about Froggy's card. Okay, so I want to center this. Oh, okay. Is it both the designer series paper or just the wood one? Because the other one was the country lace. What was it again that you came up with? I don't know. You're gonna have to, yay, thank you, Froggy. You kind of lost me there, Vaughn. You're gonna have to kind of, refresh my memory on that cool, what it was I came up with. Or are you talking to somebody, or you respond to somebody else? I don't know. Oh, when I fixed your card, well, I just kind of unassembled your card without destroying the pieces that you already worked on as far as watercoloring and stuff. So, okay, so for this piece, I'm going to center this on here. Scoot that over just a little bit. Okay, let's set that aside. And then I got this scrap paper here. I'm going to take these 3 tree tops and my old olive ink, and the glue will set that aside. When I took it apart, I actually used, with the take your pick tool, hold on. Yeah, this keeps on coming undone. I used the spatula end of the take your pick tool to kind of like wedge it under there to kind of like loosen the adhesive. Because when you try doing it with your fingers and pulling it, that's how you end up really creasing the cardstock or paper and actually tearing it. All right, so I want my small blending brush. I'm going to add some ink, and I'm going to brush some ink on the right side of my tree. So it's going to give it some in there. Okay. All right, so we'll set those aside. And we'll close this up. All right, and then I am going to bring this in. Now, what I could have done ahead of time and didn't think of this until after the fact, you can use adhesive sheets and put it down on the back of the designer series paper and the tree and the cardstock for the tree tops first, and then die cut it, and then that way you already have your adhesive on there. But I didn't think to do that, so yeah, my fingers may get a little bit sticky here in the process. So this is the Tombow multi-purpose glue, by the way. I like to put it in one of these fine tip glue bottles because with this glue having the latex in it, you don't need much and it'll stick really, really well. So I'm just adding a little bit to these branches, and I'm only doing where all the little branches are up. I'm not doing the trunk of the tree. And then I'm going to take this and stick this right on top of my tree like so. Move that up just a little bit and then press that down like so. And then there is our first tree. So we're going to do the same thing on these other two. So things are still in the works. We haven't exactly decided when exactly we're going to do it, but while Terry is here, we're going to have a bonus live. So she comes in on a Friday, and because of, timing and, and not rushing and everything else, uh, I had Yvonne as a guest stamper on one of my Friday lives. So Terry's going to be a guest stamper, but it may not be that Friday. We can't do it the following Friday because she will then already be back home. So we're gonna figure out a day uh to where we'll do another live. I don't know if it's like on a weekend, maybe in the afternoon we may do it, or early evening, we'll see. Um, but it's a thought and it's an idea. Because I don't know what stuff that they have. I'm seeing a whole lot of poop coming out of like Terry. Yeah, that didn't sound good. That just sounded wrong. What on earth are you guys talking about? Yeah, it's the one that we did. It had to have been back, I think, right before Christmas. Okay, so there's a second one. Okay, and our last one. Okay, then this one. Press that down. All right, then I am gonna, let's see, which one do I want to put aside? So this one, I'm gonna put this up in the front of this, and then these other two, I'm gonna add a little bit of glue on the back of this, and I'm just adding a couple of dots. I don't want to go crazy with the glue because you go too crazy with it, it's gonna ooze out all over the place. Shouldn't these kids be in their apartments by now? Dear Lord. Where I live, we have like an open breezeway. right outside our doors, and these kids just love to be in there and making all this racket. I think at this point they should be in their apartment and, maybe eating dinner or something. I tell you, it's gotten to the point that, you know, my tolerance for things has gotten slimmer and slimmer, especially since I've been here. You know, you got parents that just doesn't they just don't care what their kids are getting into and what they're doing. Okay, and then I'm going to take this one. Yeah, they're just very loud, and at this point, I mean, it's after 7. It's what, 8 o'clock? Well, here anyway, it's 8 o'clock. Yeah, you're. I think you should be in. Like I said, the parents here, they just don't care. And because I live in one of the, I mean, a larger apartment, uh, the buildings with the larger apartments are in like the back of the property, so they're not near, like where the leasing office would be. And I don't know if they just think that because they're back here, nobody knows what they're doing. I mean, now there's nobody there in the leasing office, but it's ridiculous. I mean, people have garbage left out there, they have shoes all over out there. I'm sorry, but take a little pride on where you're living. And I don't want to see that. I don't want it outside my door. And that's just how I feel. Okay, so I had stuck down 2 of the trees. This one's gonna be popped up and it'll be in the middle. And it's interesting because I have to do a little like surgery on my mini dimensionals because you can see that there's a lot of open spots on there. So I'm gonna take my linen thread, and I have some scotch tape here, and I'm gonna wrap this around. What on earth? Hold on a second. Are they banging on the damn door? What was it? Are they just throwing things around out there? No, it wasn't on your door. It was I think they're fighting something. God. Yeah, they're just it wasn't the door, it was the wall. It sounds like they're fighting out there. I don't want to go out. No, don't go out there. Just make sure the door's locked. Yeah, it's locked. I apologize, everyone. It's things like that just gets on my nerves. That you know, where are the parents? Why aren't you watching the kids? Why aren't your kids at home? Because it's like 8 o'clock. After 8 o'clock here. Yeah, well, yeah, just after 8 o'clock. And my thought is that I am paying way too much to live in this apartment. Now, that wasn't, all this wasn't here, like the unruly kids and all that when I moved in. This has been, I think, like since last year. And it's just gotten to the point where I had my last nerve was this. Well, it's down to here right now with everything. And I like peace and quiet, to be honest with you. This is where, give me a house in the middle of nowhere. Where I don't have any neighbors living right on top of me. All right, so I took my linen thread and I wrapped it around 3 times. And I'm going to use tape again to hold this all down. Yeah, from back here, it sounded like they ended up banging on the door. But Yvonne was saying it's that they were actually banged. They kind of like hit on the wall, which was just as loud. Okay, so there is that. And we have that butt up right at the base of our trees. And then we're going to create a double-stranded bow. Yes, Becky, yeah, you see, that's the thing. There's a big difference from the time when we grew up that yes, go out, go play, and if you lived in neighborhoods where it wasn't really large, let's put it this way, you couldn't get away with anything because, your parents would have been told things that you were doing that was not, that you shouldn't have, and all that. And it was a whole lot different. Nowadays, I mean, first off, I'm going to say this, and the other thing too that I noticed is that, I was working from home, since 2019, and just recently they have us going back into the office, 3 days a week. And I can tell you that the kids here they spend more time out of school on break than they are actually there. And then you wonder why the kids aren't learning anything. And then of course, these kids got to have homework, but as soon as they come home, you hear them outside. And again, they're getting into things that they shouldn't. So this is just like the frustrations that I have about this place. And it doesn't matter if you even say something, nothing's going to be done. One of the things that too that really gets me is that the building that's right across from me, there's a water faucet. And here, the way the water works, it's community water. So the property will get, the one big water bill. So they do water and they do sewer together. And what they do is, depending on how many people you have living in the apartment. So, like, I'm here by myself, so I got a small percentage of that bill. Whereas if you have a larger family, then the percentage is going to be more. Well, there's times the kids go out there, they mess with the water, and then they'll leave the water on. And then, like upstairs, I don't understand why water runs for more than an hour. But it's just things like that I'm paying more because of what other people are doing. And that's another thing that just kind of gets me. So I gotta stop complaining, especially when I'm doing a live. Okay, and I apologize for that. Okay, so what I'm gonna bring in, so this is like extra pieces off of the mini dimensionals. So I have to cut up some pieces to kind of fit in here. And it's kind of hard because these little spaces here are really small. And I want to add a few on the back because I do want to pop up this tree over in the middle here. So let me get, these are the scissors I use for ribbon. Let me get the other scissors that I can use for cutting up some of this. So I got little pieces, and then I'm going to use my take your pick tool. It's a little bit easier to handle these little pieces. And add. Yeah. Okay, now let's see how we're going to do the rest of these here. So I'm going to trim up a couple of more. couple of more. Wow. Yeah, I can speak. I know English. Yeah, so I'm going to try and put these to where you don't really see a lot of them through some of these openings. Okay, let's see, where else do we want to add? I'm going to have to trim this. Where's this other one? Right there. And we'll kind of stick that one right there. And then we'll take all these off. I guess they must have went in because it sounds quiet out there. All right, and then this one I'm going to place down a little bit lower and right in the middle, like so. And then I'm going to take my greeting piece. I'm going to place that right underneath those that layer of that linen thread. Deborah, unfortunately, the manners were already in the toilet before that, you know, before COVID ever happened. At least where I've been. And you want to know something? I know I've told you this, Yvonne, that, you know, when all that kind of happened, you know, in the very beginning, you know, I did have this little bit of fear, but then I also had to remember who was in control. And, you know, the whole thing about, you know, sheltering in place and all that. You want to know the truth? I really didn't have a problem with that because the honest truth is when it was Monday through Friday, you know, driving back and forth to work, you know, I would tend to do whatever shopping like that Friday before going home. And then on the weekends, I was doing stuff, you know, I was doing yard work and things like that. And so to me, I was fine staying at home. And then when we started working from home in March of 2020, let me tell you, it was glorious. Absolutely glorious. I love the fact that I can roll out of bed 5 minutes before I'm supposed to start. And you know, and then slowly get myself dressed throughout the day. And I absolutely loved it. I was only putting gas in my car once a month. I was fine with it. I have plenty of, if I end up going out, what do I end up doing? I end up spending money. And so I would just, you know, I had plenty of stuff that I can craft with and all that. And I liked having my downtime. Yeah, that too, Becky. That too. When I was growing up, my mom had this thing about Hot Wheel tracks and wooden spoons. And when you kind of saw that coming, oh, you knew that you were in trouble. Or if your whole name, you know, first, middle, and last name were being said, you knew you were in trouble. Yeah, I'm sure that that was probably hard, Deborah, around that time. I've told Yvonne a lot of times, it's like, I don't want to go nowhere. It's too peoply outside. I have my little circle of people and I'm fine being around them and everything else. But okay, so you saw what I was doing. I was putting in some dimensionals on the back of this, and then we're going to center this on our card base. And there is our second card. So a little bit of piddling around with it, gluing pieces together and all that, but I think that came out really, really cute. And the between this Lost Lagoon and the Old Olive, I just really like how this one came out. So very rustic looking. So my last one, um, yeah, evidently down in the South, that's one of the big things. It's like they have what they call switches, which are just like, okay, you go grab a branch, and then yeah, for me, I wasn't from down here. I'm originally from New York. Okay, so the final card. Okay, and if as I'm doing this, if you haven't already done so and added your name to that spreadsheet, go ahead. Once I'm done here, tidying up will be really, really quick, and then I will flip this and we'll do the giveaway of the 3 cards. So this one, I really like how this one comes out. The colors in it, to me, gives me that whole nautical type of feel to it. So I'm going to have, and Pretty Peacock is definitely one of those colors too that I really like, that I'm glad that they brought back. Okay, so my card base is basic beige, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. I have a piece of that Country Woods Designer Series paper that measures 5.25 by 4. I have a piece of Pretty Peacock that's 4.25 by 3. And then Country Lace Designer Series paper. This measures 4 by 2.75. And then out of a scrap piece of basic beige, I stamped that tree image in Lost Lagoon and then die cut that. So I will fold and burnish the card base and then adhere that designer series paper onto it. Okay. All right, so we got that. And then on this piece here, I'm going to I'm going to use my silicone craft sheet. So whenever I'm stamping, when I got the grid paper down and I'm stamping something that's, that's either on white or a light piece of designer series paper, I like to have something a little bit darker behind it so I can see exactly where I'm stamping something. So in the stamp set, I'm going to use the Sending a Heartfelt Sympathy. I would have went with Congratulations, but with the amount of space that I have and the design of the card, I needed something that was going to fit. So I went with this, and unfortunately, sympathy cards seem to be those cards that you need, and they're never fun to end up making at the time when you need them. Never easy. So I will tell you that I am lazy and I do not have the stickers on the back of my stamps. Uh, when they first came out, you know, it's one of those things that if you don't get it lined up right the first time, you don't have a second chance because you'll destroy the stamp. And I don't know about you. I mean, this stamp looks okay, but I've had stamps where when they die cut it, it would be off a little bit, so it wouldn't be centered. So I've just gotten into the habit where I didn't add any stickers to it. So for this, I am going to stamp that in Pretty Peacock ink. Okay, and then we're going to ink this up. And I'm going to look at the base of my block. And if I have that straight and I put that stamp on there straight, then my greeting should be straight. It looks really good. Okay, we'll close this up. And then I'm going to bring in, this is the basic beige bordered ribbon. This was the first time of me using this ribbon, and yet I purchased this like at the beginning of the catalog last year. Do we know if these in color ribbons, if they're carrying over? I mean, these are nice ribbons, and I mean those colors are still carrying over, so I'm kind of hoping that they kept it and they're not doing away with it. Okay, so I'm going to take my designer series paper and I'm going to glue this down to my Pretty Peacock piece. Okay. And then I'll center that on here like so. And then I'm going to get a piece of this ribbon and I'm going to wrap this around. Now, if I was really good at doing the bows, I could, you know, wrap it around and actually in one piece tie the knot. But I'll tell you who does that perfectly, and that's Dina Rico. And I don't know how she does it, but she's able to do it and they come out perfect. Yay, thank you, Froggy. Okay, so this piece of the bordered ribbon, I am going to wrap this around, add my tape. The one thing with this ribbon that I noticed, like when you cut the end of it, it does not take much at all for that end to start fraying. Okay, and since this designer series paper has like these stripes on it, it makes it pretty easy to get this on here straight. Of course, now the tape wrapped around my finger. Okay. All right, so we'll flip that over. And then I'm going to take my tree and add some dimensionals to the back of this. I don't know why I keep on taking that sheet of dimensionals and throwing it back over in my little container because I'm going to be needing them again. Okay, and then I'm going to align this tree to where you'll still be able to see the greeting, and it covers a little bit of that ribbon. And then I'm going to take another piece of this ribbon, and this time I'm going to cut myself a little bit of a bigger piece, because when I did the sample, I'm like, yeah, I don't need a big piece. But then again, remember this ribbon, the ends fray very easily. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to kind of come under, and then I'm going to tie a knot. And I got a little piece of glitter. And we'll do our knot like so. And then we'll trim like so. And then let's get our dimensionals. And let me get my other scissors and then cut, as the edge pieces are just as good. And let's see, do this, and do not cut my fingers in the process. Corner piece. We'll get one more little piece to put over there. And we'll close this up. Okay. And then we're going to adhere this to our card base. Let's make sure we got it the right way. And then we'll center this. Even though there's like no pretty there's no pretty Peacock or Lost Lagoon colors in that designer series paper, I think this all just ties in really, all these colors tie in like really, really well. And then for my embellishment on this, I'm going to bring in the Tinsel Gems 3-pack. And oh my gosh, guys. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm sorry about that. I don't know where it stopped. It was like all of a sudden it was trying to reconnect, and it gave me the option to either retry or to end the stream. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I don't know where you guys saw me leave off at. I mean, did you see me put down this piece here? Or was it when I started putting the embellishments on? I don't know. All right. So then there is the third card. I really like how all those colors come together. Pretty pretty. Okay, so I am going to tidy up really, really quick here. I don't have like that fancy software to where I can show like 2 screens at the same time. So I have to actually bring my laptop in, and you see my screen when I do when I'm spinning that wheel. So this is your chance that if you would like to be in the drawing. Again, you can be outside of the United States to be in the drawing, because these are cards, and I can mail cards, wherever in the world. And if the link is pinned up at the top, and if you're having any problems at all doing so, just say something in the chat box, and someone will be more than happy to add your name to that list, because everybody here is awesome. And let me kind of get that out of the way, and that, and that. And the way that this works is I'll take all the names and I will add them to the wheel, and in the order that I made them. So let me show the cards again. So this was our first one where we used our blends to do a little bit of coloring over the stamped image. And this embossing folder, I really like this one. It has a really nice impact on cards. And then our second one, we did some paper piecing with this one, using that designer series paper for our tree trunks and for our background there. And then our third card was our sympathy card, that to me, when I look at this, I see a lot of like a nautical theme, with those colors. So I really, really like that. So when I go to add the names, when I spin it, the first person that whose name comes up, you get to choose 1, 2, or 3 of the card, of which card you want. And then I will go to for the then I'll spin it again, and then the next person will choose whatever cards are left, and then the third person will get what's left after that. And let's see, what else do I need? I need my pen. And I'm going to kind of scoot these up a little bit. I do have to disconnect my laptop, and I do need to move these lights out of the way, because when I bring that in, it's going to reflect off of the screen. So this is a little kind of like an unconventional way to do this. But this is, like I said, I don't have that fancy little software that you can go from, like one screen to another. Okay. Yeah, Terry said she's going to try not falling asleep. Okay. So let me move these out of the way for a second. Actually, let me do this part before. I didn't even add the names. So let's see what I got here. Okay. So on the list, I have Tracy, Terry, Froggy, Becky, Deborah, and Sharon. Is there anybody else who would like to be added? Yvonne, would you like to be on here? Susie, would you like to be on here? Thank you, Deborah. Okay. Really, it was doing that periodically? Okay. All right, Susie. As a matter of fact, I have a birthday card that I need to get out in the mail that's going to Australia. Okay. We have Sharon on there. I think we got everybody, right? Anybody else? Okay, so this is the last call. I think we have everybody, so let me grab these names. And let's get to our wheel. Okay. All right, so why are you running sluggish? Okay, so here's our wheel. And again, we got card 3, 2, and 1. All right, so let's go ahead and spin. I don't know why this is going very, very sluggish. Usually it goes, it moves faster. So Deborah. I mean, we don't have, it's not storming or anything like that. So I don't understand why it's acting all wonky on me. All right, so Deborah, which card would you like? Yeah, the post office. You gotta love the post office. Okay. Oh, is that the one that you want me to send to him? Okay, I can do that. All right, so we have cards 1 and 2 here. No, 1 and 3. And let's go back over here. And okay, these ads go away. We don't want ads. Yeah, something's up with the internet because usually this will spin and it's not choppy. Okay, Tracy, which one would you like? Would you like the sympathy card or the thank you card? The first one, okay. And then for our last card, okay, let me go here. See, well, it was looking like it was gonna move, right? But I don't know what's up with this thing. Okay, Sharon. Yeah, the cards from last week, I got those out. When did I get them out? Thursday, I think. Wednesday or Thursday. Okay. So let me kind of wrap up here. So if you had liked the projects, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. It'll let you know when I go live and also when I post my other pre-recorded videos. You can share the video if you'd like. Uh, all those things, they not only help in growing the channel, but it also helps me in building my Stampin' Up! Business by, getting me put out there in front of other, crafters who like to watch YouTube videos. So next week, like I said, on Friday, that one will be pre-recorded. I won't be live that night. And let's see, and I will have a Throwback Thursday for next week. So I think that's all I have. So everybody, wherever you may be, whether whether it's cold, hot, if you're dealing with storms and all that, stay safe. Have a wonderful weekend. Hope you, do some fun stuff that just, put you in your happy place. And everyone be blessed. And I thank you again for joining me. And I will see you next week. Bye bye, everybody.